Hello guys, today we're talking about the box office. Again, since the holidays are over, it is going to be more of slow weeks at the box office. So, we have more good news for Wonka. The movie has made $465 million globally. Just remember, this was supposed to be a massive box office failure. This movie is actually even beating the global expectations of this movie. This movie is outperforming the global expectations. I knew this movie would make around 400 to 500 million dollars, but actually might break those numbers. Okay, it is doing extremely well internationally, especially in the UK. Okay, it's not even doing well in Asia. Okay, it's doing really really well in Europe. It's doing really well in Mexico. It's doing very well in most of the world here, and it continues to make more and more money at the box office. It is the big, massive holiday movie they have been wanting at the box office. Next is Night Swim. No one cares about this movie. It's another really bad horror movie. Okay, another really bad horror movie. Of course, no one wants to see it. It has a small budget, so that might save the movie from being a box office failure. Next is Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. The movie has passed $100 million domestically. Falling down to number three, it will probably make around 110 to $120 million domestically. Probably around 110 plus. That's why okay, around 120. Around 110 to 120 million. Maybe even past that. It'll probably make another 40 to $50 million internationally. As we everywhere internationally but Japan. I don't know how the first movie did in Japan. It isn't doing as well as it did in China, but the first movie had pretty great international legs. It's still continuing to perform pretty well internationally, despite having Amber Heard in the movie. It seems that international audiences at least have some interest in seeing this movie as well. So this movie made more money than The Flash and the Marvels. That's the most hilarious thing in the world. This movie beat The Flash and the Marvels, okay? This movie is doing better than both movies, okay? And yeah, Aquaman continues to lose money, but it can continue to make money over week. I don't think it's gonna break even, but it's definitely gonna lose less money than the Marvels and the Flash. Next is Migration, the movie about the ducks. The movie has made $150 million domestically as well. The movie's had extremely great ratings at the box office, not as great as Puss in Boots did. It's not gonna make $185 million like Puss in Boots did. Okay. Actually, it's doing pretty similar to Puss in Boots. Same day, same weekend. Day 17 for Puss in Boots was around the same. So Puss in Boots and Migration are still performing on par with each other, but we'll see if Migration continues. With I don't think it will continue to do like this. But there wasn't really any comp there because there wasn't really major animated competition coming anytime soon. Okay, there is not. Okay, the next major animated movie is Kung Fu Panda 4. That's the next major animated movie. Okay, and they're saying that the box office is gonna be down over next year. When on March you have Dune coming out, you have Kung Fu Panda. Yes, the first 2 months are gonna be pretty slow because you don't really have anything coming out. It's just a sad, unfortunate facts. You don't have anything coming out, but I predicted Wonka and Migration would become like sleeper hit movies, and Aquaman wouldn't do too well because of Amber Heard being in the movie. I knew the movie would do better than The Flash, simply the fact that it's a holiday movie, the as well. But I totally expected to fall below Migration next weekend. Migration made $10 million as well, and Anyone But You. This is the real sleeper hit of the holidays. Not joking. Okay, this is the real sleeper hit. This movie only opened to 6 million, and every weekend it has increased and its box office grows. This is not based off any franchise. I think it's a generic love movie. Okay, here, but this movie is gonna break even. It didn't cost anything to make. And usually, this movie, a type of movie like this would only make like $20 million domestically because people don't care about these types of movies. But it seems that the word of mouth for anyone but you is extremely good as well. Okay, there was a term called the elemental effect. Of course, it's only used for animated movies, but this movie might have the elemental effect. Okay, after Elemental, we started seeing these non-franchise movies just doing extremely well. These original movies doing exceptionally well with little to no advertising. Sound of Freedom, you can use the Elemental effect. It does not go to just animated movies. Okay, this movie, along with Migration, is the latest example of an original movie not based off anything. You know, as well. I know Sound of Freedom is based off a true story, but that movie did not get any advertising at all. Okay, it did not get any advertising as well. Okay, but anyone but you didn't get any advertising at all. Okay, I don't think anyone talked about this movie, and this movie is gonna break even. This movie is gonna make money at the box office. So yeah. Next movie is The Boys in the Boat. Do not know a budget for this movie. As well, the movie made $43 million. Not not the best rigs in the world, but is doing okay as well. Obviously, a movie that is basically for the Oscar. Same thing with The Color Purple. This movie is a massive flop. I remember they were bragging how well this movie was performing at the box office, but this movie has definitely massively fallen off at the box office as well. It has dropped from 11 million to 4 million. This movie is doing pretty poorly at the box office. The movie needs to make $225 million to break even, too. Okay, this movie needs to make a lot of money. Okay, it hasn't released internationally yet, which is not releasing until the end of this month. It also has released in Russia, but they don't have any sales for Russia. But hopefully the international box office saves this, but I wouldn't be surprised if people don't want to see it because it's woke. I wouldn't be too surprised. I don't know anything about this movie, but this movie is a flop. Almost certainly. The Iron Claw, again, it has not released in any international markets besides Italy, which they're not tracking for some reason. But this movie has not yet to release internationally. You gotta wait to see how this movie does internationally. But this movie is doing pretty well domestically, all things given. It's very small, given to be a very small movie as well. Well, okay, this movie needs to make like 10 to it needs to okay, it's a $16 million budget movie. It doesn't need to make that much more money to break even. Okay, that's basically what I'm saying. It doesn't need to make much more money to break even. It's very close to. So the budget for Iron Claw is 16 million. Next is Ferrari, which is one of the biggest flops of the holiday season. There was absolutely no interest in this movie as well, and it finally got its international footing. No one is going to see this movie at all. So yeah. Next is the Hunger Games, which continues to add to its profits, which is something the fandom managed to see that for decades. Because it's one of the L's they took. It's the L they took. That's the big factor. Is the L they took. This movie made $163 million domestically, and $156 million internationally. Yes, this movie is a saddle. It's still a saddle of the Hunger Games movies previously. Okay, but the movie only has a $100 million budget, which means Lionsgate has a successful movie on their hands. We all thought this movie would flop. I thought this movie would flop. I thought no one would want to see this. But Lionsgate decided to think smart and say, we don't need to spend $400 million in this movie. Keep the budget small. And this is what Hollywood needs to warn. They need to warn to stop spending so much money on these movies. And it would have more profitable movies. Basically. Okay. Of course, there's going to be flops every now and then. But that's the nature of things. Next is Godzilla -1, which continues to make money. The Boy and the Heron is still in theaters. That continued to make money throughout the holidays days, and yeah, the movie continued to make money throughout the holidays as well. So it's made $148 million globally. Definitely probably made a lot of money. Trolls Band Together passed $100 million domestically. So yes, Trolls did pass $100 million domestically, but this movie is basically done as well, and it is a box office. It's not a box office flop, but it's still a box office loss. Okay, I think that they will make this money back almost certainly on streaming. So next is American Fiction, which don't know what this movie is about, but it seems to be like a comedy. And Risk passed $200 million globally, which is basically because it released in Latin America and it did pretty well there. Because the movie is based off Latin America culture as well. So it got a huge boost from like Argentina, Brazil, and stuff like that, and countries there. Paraguay, Korea, which is not Latin America, but has now reached in almost every international market. And it's but even then, the biggest selling markets continue to be France, Japan, Germany, and Britain. But the movie is basically dead. It's not going to make any money at all. Domestically, it's not doing too well as well. Only made net balling below 100 million, which means we won't really be tracking, but it will probably still continue to make money internationally. But either way, it's still a box office failure. And a failure Disney should be embarrassed at. And that's it about this video here. Goodbye.